This application with the one for the suspension of the enforcement of the letters of suspension has all been adjourned to the 5th of September for hearing.
In other news, the National Census Tribunal sitting in Abuja has nullified the 2006 census results in 14 local government areas in Lagos State and has ordered a recount. The National Population Commission had put the total population figure of the state at 9 million, prompting the filing of petitions by the state on the basis of the complaints from 19 out of the state's 20 consuls. The tribunal considered and passed judgments in all 19 cases, declaring null and void the census results in 14 of the cases. It then dismissed petitions filed on behalf of 5 consuls on the grounds of insufficient proof. Briefing journalists in Lagos, the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Adekbaye, urged the NPC to urgently organize a recount.
The results were eventually released, which recorded for Lagos State a population figure of 9,113,605. And this took a lot of Nigerians by surprise, especially those of us in Lagos, because everyone virtually could tell that the population declared for Lagos was certainly very much understated. Lagos state government also had some officials who went out and did some survey at the same time as the census was being done. And we also had a figure of 17,553,924.
To other matters now, although significant achievement has been recorded in the fight against terrorism in the country, the federal government says it will not relent in taking proactive measures to enhance security in all parts of the country. This assurance is coming from President Goodluck Jonathan during a meeting in Abuja with the outgoing representative of the delegation of the European Union to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Mr. David McRae. Well, the president, in a statement, maintained that his administration will continue to do its best to correct negative perceptions about the country, including insecurity and corruption. He urged Mr. McRae to assist in correcting current misconception about Nigeria by taking that positive message to the European Union and the rest of the world.
The Nigerian Bar Association has vowed it will stop at nothing in challenging impunity and the arbitrary exercise of power in the country. Now, this formed part of a communique released at the end of the association's 53rd annual general meeting in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, where it also called for the establishment of state police to enhance crime fighting. The NBA identified corruption and unemployment as the major cause of insecurity in the country, saying that the solution lies on political leaders adhering strictly to the rule of law. The communique was read by the NBA chairman, Oke Wale.
And challenge the federal government to review the strategy for fighting the menace of kidnapping and all forms of criminality to protect the lives and property of the citizens. The bar calls for a comprehensive study of the relevance of state police as a panacea for crime fighting. The association condemns criminal acts of money laundering and financing of terrorism and is willing to collaborate with all institutions established to fight the malaise as provided under the various laws in respect thereof. The Nigerian Bar Association is competent and willing to self-regulate in accordance with the provisions of the Legal Practitioners Act. That current economic reforms, as has been in the past, are not people-oriented, thereby exacerbating the economic condition of the citizens of Nigeria. That the stamp and state policy of the NBA needs to be urgently and effectively implemented so that the practice of the legal profession will be protected from infiltration by quacks and imposters.
We'll take a break, and when we come back on News Track, the primate of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion wants journalists to be more objective in their reporting.
And Minister of Water Resources issues new flood threats. That's after the break. Join us again.
Daily, our world changes. Sometimes it could be tough to keep up with these changes. Some other times, communicating these are even harder. Our job here on Sunrise is to break it all down for you, not just to understand, but take the right action. Sunrise, every Saturday at 9 a.m. only on Channels Television.
And now you can log on to our website, channelstv.com, to get more on our top stories and other programs you're interested in, and also viewers on youtube.com/channelsweb.
And you can visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on the iPhone, iPad or BlackBerry, and you can download the Channels TV app for the Android and Nokia 920 devices from their respective stores. The chairman of the Yoruba Unity Forum and the matriarch of the Awolowo dynasty, Mrs. H.I.D. Awolowo, has challenged traditional rulers and indeed political leaders of Yoruba extraction not to allow their personal interests to override the collective interest of the race in the quest to remain relevant in the socio-economic and political setting of the country. The vice chairman of the forum, Most Reverend Bolanle Gbonigi, expressed concern over alleged marginalization in the polity, calling on the president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, to make a deliberate decision in correcting the situation. They spoke during the general meeting of the forum held in Ikenne, Ogun State, southwest Nigeria. Now, the forum was attended by politicians, traditional rulers, and religious leaders from the southwest states.
We hope that very soon he will give us an appointment to see him and put the complaints of the Yorubas squarely before him, so that he can see that we are not guessing and we are not just grumbling. We are asking for our right and we are asking for justice. And God is God of justice. Let other people of other nations in Nigeria have their rights, but let the people of the Yoruba nation also have their rights.
The critical role of the media has come into focus once more as the primate of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Nicholas Oko, has challenged journalists on objective reportage. The cleric, who was speaking at a meeting with information officers in Abuja, described the role of reporters as one which can either make or mar the peace of the country. He urged the media to strive towards providing members of the public with credible information, especially ahead of the 2015 general elections.
It is not everything you hear that you rush to publish or that you rush to dispense around. You need to develop a critical sense of judgment to be able to say this is what delivering to the people and this is not what it is. This is critically important as we approach 2015, when there will be a lot of information floating about politics and politicians. If you don't handle them properly, you just destroy people for nothing. If you handle them properly, you'll be informing the society, you'll be building the church, you'll be playing your role creditably. Issues that affect government are very sensitive. And if you handle them very well, you'll be helping the government to govern. And you'll be helping the poor and the general populace to relate with government.
Now, 8 years after 77 oil licenses were awarded to operators, crude oil production is yet to begin in these blocks, or on those blocks. Well, to address this ugly trend, well, the Department of Petroleum Resources, that's the DPR, has already held discussions with all those involved on the challenges and prospects of the blocks. The director of DPR, Mr. George Osaho, says the forum will help seek out ways to meet industry target for reserves and production in the country.
In this room are oil and gas operators, mostly those of them who participated in 2000.